Hey everybody! Oops, this is what I wanted. How's it going? Guys. Hey Pinkthorn! Hey everybody else. Divinicator, Shadow Nymph, Sochin, Metal Jenny, Marceline. People here early. Awesome. Nice to see you guys. I'm just getting situated a little bit still. Trying to get the pink foam dust off of my cutting mat. So, I spent today working on... Oh! Dragon 5, thank you for the subscription. Dang, this autofocus isn't happy. Okay, I'm gonna work on this for a minute. I spent earlier today working on cosplay photo set stuff, which I just posted about earlier. So if you missed that, you should check it out. It's on my Instagram stories and or Twitter. Here we go. Arm cam. Okay, so it's no longer on autofocus. Is it focused on me? Yeah, it's focused on me. Okay. Cool. So hopefully that's good. So I was working today on getting those like fake walls set up. We're using foam, just like pink insulation foam, and creating like fake stone walls. The ones we're making right now are kind of like a temporary wall so that I can have something to kind of block out the sides and other things during a photo shoot. So they're not going to be like high quality enough to be like in focus and you know, featured in the photos, but they'll be there essentially like as a backdrop, and then hopefully the whole effect overall will be nice. But I'd like to make nicer quality walls in the future, and I think they're a pretty good place to start. Sorry, I'm just brushing all of the pink foam off of my counter before I do anything else. That's why I told that story. Let's see, what's up here? Hey guys, Shadow Nymph asking, am I feeling better? Yes, I'm feeling great. I've been working really hard, getting a lot done. Oh, so the reason why my stream started late today was because I was working on the walls and stuff. And I was working with my friend Lee, and this was the time that we could get together, so I had to schedule things a little bit differently. But, for once, I'm actually like starting late because I was doing something productive instead of just starting late because I wasn't ready. All right. I'm getting hydrated for my sewing. And set up in here again. The Casual Viking, thank you for your subscription. 4 months in a row. Thank you so much. I've been working really hard lately, and it feels great. Feels great to be like being productive with my time, seeing a lot of stuff get done. I feel like I'm moving really, really slowly on Arwen, but that's just because I mainly work during these streams as opposed to in my own time, because my time is being divided between this and the photo set stuff. But it's all for the ultimate goal of making beautiful cosplay, so you know, all of it will get done eventually. Which parts did I still need to change? Oh, I'm gonna take in, oh, I did that part. Okay, cool. I did quite a bit of work on this mock-up, last night. I actually did work on this outside of my stream for once. So last night I spent some time working on this and I created a new sleeve, and that's what we're doing right now. So this is sleeve version 2.0. It might not be the final version, but it is the next evolution in what these sleeves might look like So let's give it a try. Hey there, Anya, the cosplayer. It's going super well. I'm just working on my costume. And I have some clips here. Oh, I have so much random crap laying around my room from all of my ongoing projects that are not the same thing. Pink thorn, cutting a mock-up, or finished cutting it. Well, I'm glad that you were able to power through and recut parts you need to. Divinicator is doing research project on the video game console market. That's interesting. Hey, the completionist donated $120. Oh, thank you so much. Was there a note? There was no, oh, hearts. Hearts, thank you. Hearts for you too. Heart, heart, heart. I appreciate that. You are helping me meet my goal of finishing up these photo sets that I've been working on and tweeting about. And I am really, really excited about that project. So thank you so much. And thanks for stopping by, Gerard. Let me make sure that this sleeve gets put in correctly because I'm notorious for doing sleeves wrong. This is the outside, and this is the outside, so yeah, this is correct. I just always fear the worst and that I've done it wrong, so hopefully this is good. But I'm excited about Arwen, and I'm excited about these photo, like, fake walls that I'm working on with the stone texture to them, and the window itself. So I posted a couple pictures, and one of them kind of shows the window sitting in the walls, like not really attached in there yet, which it will remain separate. It's going to be like on its own stand. But anyway, that window will be faux stained glass, and so I'm going to paint that really soon, and I'm excited to work on that part because that will be really fun. And that was already funded through our streams, so you'll be able to see the results of that very soon. Hey Maker Geek, welcome. Divinicator asking, what cosplays will I use the pillars for? Any specific ones? The whole idea is just to kind of create a collection of set pieces that can be used together, rearranged, and put kind of in different configurations. So it wasn't necessarily planned around a specific character. I just thought pillars would be a good part of that kit, that scene kit, you could call it. The photo shoot that I'm currently planning for right now is Aerith from Final Fantasy VII. So she was what inspired the flower wall specifically. That is the one that I have like kind of been working towards with that in mind. But the pillars themselves are kind of just a general set piece that will probably be making at least some kind of appearance in the Aerith photo shoot. But also lots of other photo projects. So they weren't specific. But my goal ultimately is to like come up with different ways to style them so that they might look different in different photo sets. Like right now they're plain white, and I'm gonna shoot at least this first shoot with them plain white. And then in the future beyond that, I might give them like a faux marble finish or a faux like granite or some kind of stone kind of texture or pattern to them, which I think would be really beautiful and add a nice touch. Or I could cover them in ivy, like fake ivy, to make them look like more overgrown, which I might do for Aerith actually. So stuff like that, trying to come up with different ways to make the pieces that I invest in making look different in different situations, so that it's not always just like the same looking. The whole point is to have some variety. So there was a whole long explanation for that. But I'm really excited about that project, so I have a lot to say on it. I'm excited to talk about it. That's the project that kind of has like gotten away from me, where I thought, oh, I'll just make the wall, the flower wall. Oh, well, the flower wall needs an archway so it has some depth. Oh, well, now I found these pillars. And like the pillars were something that were on my list of things that I wanted to make, except if I had made them myself, they would have been made out of cardboard. They would not be as sturdy or as long-lasting or as useful, honestly, as these ones that I bought are. And they are aluminum. The pillars that I have are aluminum. I think they were in like a garden or a churchyard or something. But now they're in my garage. let's see. How do I store my wigs? On lots of little plastic wig stands. There's one right over here. I'll show it to you. Oh, I won't be lazy. I'll go get up and get it. So this is a plastic wig stand. It's just, it folds, it breaks down into flat pieces. So they're really useful to take along to a convention because they'll fold flat and lay in your suitcase, and this weighs almost nothing and takes up almost no room. Compared to a wig head, even the styrofoam ones, they just take up so much room in your suitcase, and that is like prime real estate. So I like to use the plastic ones, and it's you can get a lot of them for pretty cheap, and they come in sets of like 5 or however many. And I just got those on Amazon, I think. So that's a good way to store them. I also have like high shelves going around the edge of my room, a different room in this house. And so the wig heads are all just kind of like on that shelf. And it's out of the way because they're not things I need to access all the time, but they're just kind of being stored there. And so, you know, it's nice to kind of have them like above eye level, and it makes the room look cool too because you're like surrounded by all kinds of weird things on the shelf. Will I eventually make a sword for this costume? I have a sword for this costume, and it was provided from the stream, but it's one of the official replicas. So I don't actually need to make that because I already have it, and it is finished. So it won't be handmade, but it will be very beautiful and very accurate. And I already have it like in my possession, and it's really nice. I guess I could show that off on stream. I don't think I have. I posted some photos of it when I originally announced the costume, so you can go look them up if you want to, or just search like official Arwen sword or whatever, and you'll find it. Will I be partnering with any other Final Fantasy cosplayers for the Aerith shoot? Not right away. So the one that I'm planning will just take place in my house with these set pieces. So that one is happening next week. So I basically have 1 week. Yeah, the goal in my my stream bar, my goal bar, and just my general goal right now is to reach that funding goal before next week. So that photo shoot is just a solo Aerith shoot, but then after that, I am planning to collaborate with another cosplayer, but I won't tell you who, and I won't tell you what character. But yes, funny you should ask. I am planning on doing a shoot with another character, but that one is a surprise, so you can just wait and see soon. Hi, Rudalon. What are good restaurants near me? Mod Pizza. I go to a lot of teriyaki places. There's like a lot of chain ones near, like in the general area where I live, so it's easy to find. Princess Unicorn Hunter commenting on the Wig Storage solution. It is great for hats as well. All of my hats are also with my wigs, where I have a high shelf just going around the outside of the room. It's pretty easy to set up. You can just go to like Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever and get flat shelves and like wall supports for them. And I always do that and just install them in my houses. So yeah, that's what I use for both of those. And it makes a nice display too. For the first time, I actually have like a costume storage room that like looks nice. It's not really fully put together. Nothing in my house is ever really fully put together. But it certainly looks better than my last situation did, where it was just like boxes everywhere and like stuff just like stacked on itself and strewn about. So I'm doing a little bit better. A little bit. I try. Hey Lawrence Turtles, welcome back to the stream. Hat collections are super hard to store in general, but having those high shelves are just a great storage solution for a lot of things. All right, I'm getting close, and this sleeve actually pretty much fits perfectly in here. Love this one. That's always nice when you try to ease a sleeve in and then it just goes. It's just there. Hello, Rinzel Chan. How do I store my Zelda armor? Oh, the completionist donated another $24 saying, had to make it to the even 200. Proud to help get to that goal. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. How do I store my Zelda armor? The armor for that is just 2 pauldrons, and they're separate from the rest of everything. So they just unhook, and then I just put them on a shelf. Like, there's not really anything more to it than that, so it's easy. All right, on to sewing. I've got this sleeve set in here. And I'm going to stitch it up and then try it on, and then you can get a little bit more of a glimpse of what this part looks like. As always, we are listening to Radio Cutman on YouTube, so just search that if you're interested in this playlist. And it's kind of a rotating playlist of a lot of music. Alright. Pretty much got set in there. Yes, this is a mock-up. Oh, hey, Bob Dunga. Welcome. Yes, so this is a muslin mock-up. It's just cheap fabric that is really good for easy to mark on and easy to like piece together to get an idea of what your pattern will be for the final one. Hi Jackie, welcome to the stream. I had an idea. I was talking to Lee today as we were building things in my living room. She's a photographer that I'm going to be working with next week for the Aerith shoot. So we were like working on the walls together and talking about kind of visualizing shots we might try to do or angles we might want to get, and that was kind of guiding our process for putting the walls together and how we approach things. So we were working on that today, and just excited about next week's photo shoot. And where was I going with that? I had something specific I wanted to say. Dang. Alright, I'll let you know when it comes back to me. But, oh, I know. Okay, now I remember. I asked her if she'd be comfortable streaming it, or I just talked about the possibility of streaming it, or streaming a photo shoot, and she said she would be down. That's what I was trying to say. So, pretty much all of the work that I've been doing for that, for the most part, has been just like supported by the stream, so I thought it would be a cool like way to end the project by doing the photo shoot like on stream so that people can tune in and get behind the scenes glimpse at what goes on with the stuff that we made and how the photos are made, and just kind of get to see the whole process. So it's currently my intention to do that. I will do my best to try to make that happen. Shadow Nymph says that they want to do a Zelda photo shoot. Well, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of things. First of all, yes, I hope you cosplay Zelda if you don't already, and then do a photo shoot if you're just talking about it for yourself. But I'm also just like with the intention of potentially streaming lots of shoots, because now that I do it inside my own home, you know, there's nothing to stop me, and it'll be easy to pull off because I've got the equipment right here. So yeah, so that's I just wanted to let you guys know. Creefius, oh, thank you for subscribing 4 months in a row, appreciate that. You know what? I will ask Lee how she feels about doing that for next week's Saturday stream. If she's down for that, then 1 week from today at our normal stream time, or maybe at a different stream time. Yeah, probably a different stream time. I'll announce it for sure once I get confirmation. But I will talk to her about doing that as next week's Saturday stream. So if you're curious about all of this, and how it's all gonna work out, then you can come by next week, I hope, and see it live. And if it's not happening on Saturday, then it will happen on Sunday. That'll be fun. And then I do my photo editing streams Monday, so either way, if I'm shooting over the weekend, anybody who comes to a Monday stream will have the opportunity to see photos in process from the previous weekend. So I'm trying to do a little bit more of like showing what goes into creating all of the finished photos and the finished work, especially now that I'm building sets and doing the photography literally in my house. I hope that that's interesting to people, because it's kind of the culmination of all the work that I'm doing on stream, is ultimately to make things to be photographed, either to wear or to be like photographed in front of or next to or whatever. So yes, I am looking forward to all of that quite a bit. And today was really productive and really encouraging, because it was one of those days where, like, first of all, I got supplies delivered this morning, and so it's always exciting when like stuff shows up to work with. And then beyond that, it was one of those days where you like are finally able to like visualize what your product will be, and like kind of how it's going to go together and what like the pieces will look like. And so finally having those guidelines in mind has allowed me to like really figure out like what do I need to focus on to make sure it all gets done, and just really exciting to see pieces of it standing downstairs in my living room. So I have 1 week left on that goal, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it come together. Hi, Creepius. Wig Stand, going to bed. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Nick Allo, hello, welcome. Oh, that's right. Creepius was the one who subscribed, but then said hello right after that. Well, hello. Thank you for your subscription one more time. Alright. Getting pretty close to having this sleeve in, and then we'll do a quick try on. Hey, Creepius donated $20. Thank you so much. Okay, so he actually, Creepius, it could be, I don't know what gender, sorry. They donated the floor mats, and so those are a part of the flooring for the set that I'm working on right now. Thank you so much. I'm trying to create the effect of like standing in a room, and so there's fake walls and there'll be a fake floor, and it's just like foam mats that I'll lay down that are like connected like puzzle pieces. So thank you for helping me toward that goal. I'm excited to see it coming together now that like the walls are kind of like in place, and I have a general idea of like how big it'll be and how they fit together. I can see like in my mind at least like what the set will look like and like what I need to do to get it there, and I'm just really stoked. I have a lot of creative energy today, guys. Even though I've been already working since usually I start my days at like noon. But I've already been working for hours at this point because I did all of this morning. So, yeah, like instead of being drained by that, I'm just like more excited and like ready to go. Working on this mock-up, about to try it on for you guys, and you can see what I'm working on. Creepy is saying, I just had to hear what those would be used for. Yeah, it's for photo sets, and there's one more on the wishlist page too. Bob Dunga asking, how long have I been making costumes and which has been my favorite to work on? I've been cosplaying for a little bit over 5 years. So I started in 2012 in the fall. So it's been like 5.5 years, I would say. My favorite costume to work on was, oh, well, I actually answered this question the other day, and so I feel confident with that answer, which was, I liked making the Winter Zelda costume because I was a little bit more relaxed during that process compared to my other Zelda costume. That I love the results of that more, and I love the finished costume for that one, but it was also just so stressful that I hated making it. Alright, here's what we're working with on sleeve number 2. It fits pretty well. I think there's actually a little bit too much room. Like, it can be narrower where it comes together. Not super tight, but a little bit tighter than what we've got right now. It's a wrap sleeve. Sorry, I need to be like closer on the camera. It's a wrap sleeve, so it kind of fits interestingly, strangely. Well, that's a good start. I had a zipper on here and then I changed it. I have a different zipper now. Here we go. I found a separating zipper because trying to put it on over my head was such a pain in the butt. It just like never was gonna happen. So now I have a separating zipper, which is like the kind on jackets or whatever, where it comes apart in 2 pieces. So what did I do before I got into cosplay? I collected video games. I was a video game collector, and now you can see all of the beautiful video games that I collected are sitting behind Jared in his videos. He did the majority of that collection, I will say. The majority of them are his, but everything that I did collect got added to that collection. So that was like about 400 or 500 games, probably. The rest were his. Pretty much all of the PlayStation 1 and 2 and a lot of the PS3 were mine. And everything else was his. And he did like most of the Nintendo. So, yeah, that was my main hobby. I would spend a lot of time going to like thrift stores and flea markets and stuff. I've always been like a thrifter. I've always loved that. Oh, this song too. This is another good jam. I've always been like loving to go to like, flea markets and thrift stores and garage sales. I love that stuff. I love like just finding things and like the process of like hunting for things and trying to find cool things. And so I used to be into games. I've always been into art. And so I was collecting video games for like years, and I was working at game stores at the time too. So that was like my day job, working at a game store, and then my hobby was collecting games and playing games. And I loved playing games a lot, and I still like games a lot, but I don't have time because I spend all my time sewing, which I'm actually happier when I'm producing things. So it works out. I mean, I miss it. And I still play games like from time to time. I don't play like 0 games, but I don't play nearly as many games as I used to. And just because I'm busy, I'm sewing. I've got stuff to make. I've got stuff to do. So yeah, Jared was really happy when he met me. He was like, wow, cool video game collection. This girl's legit. And then now he just gets them. Because we're married. But see, now I can't say that, people can't say that I bring nothing of value to this relationship because I brought lots of video games into this relationship. That was my dowry. And now I just make things. So the sleeve needs to be tighter in the seam, but the shape is really nice. Like it has that like petal and the flare I think I might adjust like the drape a little bit, like have it be a little bit more, I don't know, that actually looks pretty good. I was trying to, I'll compare it to some more reference images before I like really make a final decision. I think that this, it needs more curve here to add a little bit more movement into the armpit. Sorry, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. The sleeve itself needs to have slightly more exaggerated curve, I want to say, so that it'll be like sticking out more rather than down. And then that will allow me, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to pose with my arms higher than this because it's tight. I'm going to make a note of that. I'm just kind of mostly talking to myself about what I'm going to do, but that's what the point of the stream is for you to see what I'm going to do. So, note to self. I need more S-curve. That's what it's basically going to look like. More S-curve. I'll understand that later. Let's see. Thrifting is fun, finding treasure everybody else overlooked. I agree, Creefius. It is, yeah, it's just really exciting. I still go thrifting a lot, except now I'm generally looking for set pieces, props, like cool, weird decorations and stuff, and then other random things that I can make different things out of. So like, yeah, stuff for backdrops and photo shoots and stuff. And I also look at clothing that I can recycle into something else. So I went recently and got like 4 different pink lace tops that are all different, but they're similar shades, and so they fit together very well, and I'm just gonna like rip the lace off of most of them and just like completely undo them and make something else. And I want to do that on stream too. We'll see when, because I've got a lot of other stuff going on and I don't want to set my current projects aside. But that's something that I would love to do during a stream someday. Creefius asking if it was pointy or round at the end of the sleeves. It is pretty round. I've been looking at other costumes for reference and a lot of references for this. The sleeve that I made originally on the stream was pointy because that's how this pattern looks, is that it's a pointy pattern, but it needs to be round eventually. Shadow Nymph asking, what are the red lines for on this mock-up? The red lines are new seams, so I'm going to cut it apart on the red lines eventually, but this is just kind of providing me basis for developing the pattern. Alright, I think I answered all of my current questions. Let me look at this again. It needs more S-curve and it needs to be tighter, but how much tighter does it need to be? That's a good question. I would say at the elbow it needs to be quite a bit, like 1.5 inches. At least a full inch, maybe not more. Okay, let's do 1 full inch on each side, so that's 2 inches total. I'm telling you all as though you're here making the decision with me, but you know. Lawrence Turtle's asking, has it been getting warmer? Yes, it has been getting warmer and it's actually really beautiful. Today was rainy and I think tomorrow it's gonna rain too, but yesterday or a couple days ago it was just like gorgeously beautiful and sunny, and it was so nice and just like really relaxing. That was just like a wonderful day. So what do I use for marking on mock-ups? This is Sharpie, so I just go for Sharpie. I frequently use my invisible disappearing fabric ink pen, and so I'll mark all of this on with this, and then my lines can be really messy and kind of all over the place and like crossed out and redrawn and stuff as I go. And then when I'm done and I'm satisfied, my like final line, like inking a drawing, you sketch it and it's messy and then you go back over and you ink it and it's like very clean and you're trying to get like the most precise and beautiful lines, and so you pick the correct line out of your sketch, and that's basically what I'm doing, where I use the invisible disappearing ink for all of the sketching, and then go back over it with a Sharpie, and then the Sharpie remains, and then it looks nice and beautiful in the end, and people are like, wow, your mock-ups are so gorgeous. You're so good at keeping everything neat looking, and I'm just like, yeah, sure. Shadow Nymph is asking, so I'm gonna cut the mock-up apart and trace the pieces on pattern as a new pattern. You got it. That is correct. And then I'm going to turn that into a second mock-up. And the second mock-up will be like the final draft, so to speak, but not actually the final piece. So this is like the rough draft. Okay, I guess the second mock-up is more like just second draft is a better way of saying it. So this is the rough draft where you just want to get the ideas on paper. You just need to have it written, so to speak, and you are just creating shapes with the fabric that you can start working with. Like this pattern that I used was close to the Arwen design, but it's not actually exact. And so what I'm doing is making that pattern, which is close to it, and then making all kinds of adjustments from there to make it exact or make it into the final thing. What kind of fabric do you use for my mock-ups? This is muslin, which is just like cheap cotton. It's only a couple dollars a yard, and so I'll buy it in like whole bolts. Just get a lot at a time. Q-Man asked, have I ever used Jared as a dress form? No, I have dress forms for that. Like something in my eye. Pardon me. Let me get this set up. Cool. Alright, let's do this thing. So next, I'm going to put this back on the mannequin. I'm going to look at the sleeve off of my body again, and then I'm also going to make changes to the shape of the collar. And I think these are the main things that I need to do. So this is actually getting pretty close to getting to the point where I want to disassemble it. I did take the zipper out already because it was a pain in the ass to put over my head, but that's what my replacement zipper is for, is to make that not a problem. Oh, it's bunching up a little bit because I like took the seam in. I was like, why isn't that laying flat and beautiful like it did when I sewed it? Because I like made the seam tighter at a point where it came to an angle. So now there's like a little kink in the fabric, but that's fine. I can fix it when I get to the point of sewing this for real. Or in my next mock-up, rather. I'm always grabbing my mannequin by the boob and then not realizing it, just awkwardly. Turn it a bit, because you don't need all of that. Have I ever used Jared as a dress form? Asks Qman4000. No, I haven't, because he has stuff to do. I'm not just gonna like make him sit there when I have mannequins. You know, that's what mannequins are for, so you don't have to use a real human who's just standing there getting pins stuck in them like a voodoo doll. Yeah, I don't use real humans. I have, like, used him to make patterns, like you would, you can cover a person, you know, in, first of all, tight-fitting clothing, so like a t-shirt or something, and then put masking tape all over it and draw on it and then cut that apart, and you can make patterns that way. And so I've done that with him, in order to like make a pattern in his size, but he, after that process, like he's free to go. He isn't there as a dress form, he's just there like to quickly make a pattern based off of his general shape. Ah, gotta stay hydrated. Okay. So So, this dress is going to be zipped together right up until about here. So many wonderful projects in process. My days have been very fulfilling lately, and that's a great feeling. Just getting your stuff done. Everyone's commenting on the mannequin boob touches. Remember that stream last year where I sanded the nipples up a mannequin? Was that during a stream? It might have been during a stream, or it might have been after the stream, or just something that I posted about. But yeah, I had to sand the nipples off of a plastic mannequin because they were bumpy, and like I was using it to form over, and so I needed smooth boobs, and I was like, well, you gotta go, and just sanded them down with my Dremel, and it was like a little bit weird and unsettling. Like, not something that I want to do over. But yeah, they had to go. I had to make the titties smooth so that I could form leather over them, and they would be you know, useful. So Sheen saying that my Tumblr and streams have been super helpful. Well, I'm glad that you think so. I try to post a lot of tutorial information whenever I can, and I like to let people in on like what I'm working on and how it's going, so that I have an opportunity to like share all of it with you. So I'm really glad to hear that it is useful for you. Yes, we are just sitting around chatting about mannequin nipples and grabbing the boobs. So, you know, fun stream time with Heidi. Alright, so this collar shape needs to be changed. I'm going to use my phone for reference images, which I will look up now. I have a bunch of photos saved at any given time for like all kinds of different costumes. Oh, this is convenient. Okay. So this image that I found, it's been saved in my reference folder, has like very specific estimates for like how close the pieces of this are. Like the dimensions are marked on here as far as like how far apart, what's the width of this collar, and how far is it from the shoulder, and little bitty things like that. So that's really convenient. So I'm gonna start drawing in such a way that will adapt this collar with this information. It's a little bit weird because this fabric is flimsier, and there's also like a dart in it now. I'm gonna put some tiny clips in it. So there is a bit of a weird dart in it, but I'm going to just ignore that for now. cool. Man, it's hard to get this on camera, but there you go. I've just drawn a line. Let me take a moment and just kind of look at this again. Cool. I actually feel really good about this. I am going to take this out and mark it with my Sharpie. Lauren's Turtles, see you later. Thanks for hanging out with us for a bit. Alright, so now I'm just going to attempt to draw a better line. Speaking of Final Fantasy VII, this song. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut already because this is one of the last things that I was trying to work out my dimensions for. Which cosplays survived the flood? Almost everything. The only ones that didn't were Samus in her original form, but I brought her back through weathering, through the power of battle damage. And then the golden armor did not survive, which was an original design that I had worked on that unfortunately I didn't have a lot of photos of, but what photos exist you can see on my website, and I'm planning on eventually redoing that, or at least part of it, or if not doing it exactly the same, to do like a version 2.0 that would be like an evolved version of the original design. But the dress itself, like I have all the components for it. I'm sorry, I have some of the components for it. I have the dress itself, I have the shoulder pieces, I have the forearm armor. So I have like almost everything. I have the shoes, I have almost everything except for the main body, the chest plate. And so that's what got ruined. So anything, for the most part, the things that I lost in the flood were like pieces of things rather than all of one costume or something like that. Trying to be really careful with cutting this, but we're almost done. Yeah. All right, we've got one half of the collar has been reshaped. Askelia is saying that they went to see Lord of the Rings in theater. It was great. Arwen's outfit was a lot whiter in that movie. Which one are you talking about? So the outfit that I'm making is dark gray, but it's supposed to be more like a medium gray, but it's hard. It's like weirdly captured on film, so it looks really dark in the film, even compared to like the color that it's supposed to be in real life. So I'm not sure which costume you're referring to, because that one is darker than the one that I'm making. The final version will be darker than what you see here. So yeah, I'm making like a dark gray outfit, pretty much. I've already been streaming for like an hour. I've got a sleeve in. I've got the collar shaped. All right, it's all good stuff. Good stuff. All right, I have to determine the placement of these side panels. Oh, I think that's actually pretty good. I think I'm more or less done with the mock-up. Well, except for changes I might make to the sleeves, so I guess I'll do that next. First, Gatorade. Actually, I'm gonna take a moment and eat my snack. Because I've been working hard today and I'm hungry. It's 4 p.m. I'm gonna try to stream for, I don't know, maybe another hour, we'll see. Brain energy. Anyway, if anybody else here is working on a cosplay or something creative, let me know. Escalia, or I'm sorry, Axelia, clarifying their comment that they just saw a theater play version where they were using a different color. That makes sense. That's cool. Nom, yes. I'm hungry, sorry. I'm gonna put this on again. I want to look at the sleeve one more time before I make another version of it. But I am gonna do sleeve version 3.0 next. So the main thing I wanted to look at was whether or not this armhole needs to be smaller. And I don't think it does. I think the sleeve needs more fabric. Sorry, I'm like seeing things in reverse. It needs more fabric here, going up into the armpit. It needs more fabric, but it needs to be tighter at the lower portion. So basically this corner, when I lay it flat, will need to like come up and add, I'm sorry, I'm looking at things backwards. It needs to come up, add some more material so that it has a greater range of motion and a greater ability to like reach farther, and these wrinkles won't be there as badly. So that's what we're gonna do next. So I'm gonna sit down. I'm about to rip out the stitches that I just sewed on screen. I was like, oh yeah, let's start by putting the sleeve in. Okay, great, the sleeve is in. All right, I'm taking the sleeve out now. And sometimes that's just what sewing is like. I love it. Metal Jenny is working on Chise from Ancient Magus Bride and also Padme from Star Wars. That sounds fun. Piano Sammy filming / editing a commercial video. That sounds cool. Princess Unicorn Hunter is working on a Lolita dress. Ooh. I really admire Lolita fashion. I've never like done it myself, but I admire it. I really enjoy looking at it. Hey Metalhead, what I recommend to make for someone who's just starting out, whatever you want to. What are you drawn to? Do you want to make some, are you trying to sew something, or are you trying to make a prop? It's the first thing you need to decide. And then just look up tutorials on the thing that you want to make, or similar things, like the same general category. And then go from there. Good. I have this seam ripper that's like a little knife on a stick. Well, with a handle. A little knife with a handle. And it makes things really fast. So we can move on to sleeve 2.0 pretty quickly, I hope. Yeah, figure out what you want to make, a metalhead. Like whether you're drawn to a certain character or a certain style, or if you want to make like a big armor, or you want to make something casual and comfortable. Like all of those things are extremely different, and all of them have their own benefits, and like, you know, can be fun in different ways. But figure out whatever you're drawn to. Oh, hey, Within One Tiger, welcome. Oh, see ya, Excelia. Thanks for hanging out and adding to the discussion. I hate sleeves. Sleeves are a little bit difficult because right in the area where your shoulder meets, like where your arm meets your torso, your shoulder, whole shoulder area. There's a lot of different curves happening, and a lot of different things have to be like kind of considered when you're creating shapes to cover them. There we go, I'm done already. So you know, there's a lot to think about. So this sleeve is two pieces. There's like an upper and a lower sleeve. They look like this, and I just developed this pattern by testing different things and by looking at recommendations online that from people who had already made this. See you later, Shadow Nymph. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Within One Tiger. I really have been getting shit done, and that feels really good. It's exciting to get shit done. Yeah. I'm just really stoked about that. I took all of my rulers downstairs and I left them there. I will have to be right back. Perfect Patrick says, nice music. This is Radio Cutman, so look that up on YouTube if you're interested in it. It's just an ongoing 24-hour playlist that's all stream safe music and a lot of like video game remixes and inspired stuff. So I'll be right back with rulers and then we'll begin. Oh, hey there, Wheezy Peasy. Nice to see you here too. I returned. I also brought my coffee, which I had forgotten downstairs, and now I have it back in my possession. Yeah, that's the main drawback to my streams. They put people to sleep. I'm aware of it. I don't mind. I'm glad that we're all hanging out and having a chill time. But you know, as people tell me. I'm gonna add like 2 inches. That's a lot. That's a lot. 2 inches from like the outermost point per se. Okay, I'm gonna move this and lay some more fabric down. Just one moment. I'll try to give you guys a slightly better view of my work surface. Within One Tiger says, but you're not boring, it isn't that, it's more a soothing comfort. I hope so. That's what I aim for. Thank you for saying so. Alright, just got some stuff unfolded over here. Chill time and for some mutual craft time. That's right, that's what I love, is mutual craft time especially. I'm gonna have to unroll some more. Marceline, I'm glad that you enjoyed the streams. Keyman asking, so you've done costumes for theater, but have I ever gone on stage myself? Not on, well, I did theater when I was really, really young. Beyond that, I have only really been on stage for cosplay, which is different. So I've never been like cast in a play, I've never tried out for a play. But no, I don't really do that type of performance. Like using the middle section of fabric, which feels so weird, but it is technically conserving fabric because of the shape that it is, so that's what I'm working with. This is good jams. Hey, Whirple Chicken. I like that. That's a good name. Okay. So I'm going to trace the outline a little bit and then make some changes. So I decided to add like 2 inches of room in the armpit, which is just like a ton. Even if it doesn't sound like it. smoothing out my curves. And then I need to mark some more positions here. Strong opinion on cosplay contest. As someone who doesn't participate, is it fair to make a hobby competitive? I would argue that most hobbies are competitive. I mean, sports, card games, like just most of the world is competitive. Even in the arts, like it's all very competitive. So I would say that they're not, I mean, there's no surprise that the hobby has become competitive. That said, I have participated in them. I have entered and judged and won and lost cosplay contests. I've done all of those things. I enjoyed them. I definitely, you know, have learned a lot of what I know about cosplay from them. And from meeting people that I met in those contests that I wouldn't know otherwise. Both as people who were judges and people who were other competitors that I talked to and made friends with and learned about. And also just sitting backstage where you have opportunities to get to know each other and to see what everybody did for their costume and how everybody's is different, and all of that is wonderful and exciting, and I'm definitely in support of all of that. Some people feel really strongly about them, or that, oh, it's not fair. People always have that to say about everything cosplay related. So I find that tiresome. I don't think cosplay contests are a problem. I think that they encourage people to work really hard. If you're really serious about a costume that you want to enter into a contest or something, then generally people put a lot of effort into that. So I think that's neat. Purple Elzier says, you can be a part of a hobby without joining the competitive side. Oh yeah, absolutely. There are tons of people who never compete. And I don't really compete anymore. I have competed, but I'm not like actively a competitor. Well, I've considered doing like TwitchCon or something that's bigger, but that would be like, number one, super competitive. So who knows if I would even get chosen for that or anything like that. You never know. But I would at least attempt it. I'm looking at this length and I'm like, is this really... I'm trying to decide if they, how much would be lost or how much is lost with this sleeve. Quite a bit already. Alright, so it really does need to be that wide. Deciding how to draw my lines. Have I ever judged a contest? Yes, I've judged plenty of contests at this point. Most of them were at Texas conventions because that's where I was living at the time. Sorry, I'm getting emails. So I used to judge a lot of conventions when I lived in Texas because there were a lot of cons out there. So there was a lot to do. Trying to decide. I guess a straight line is probably better. Trying to determine these sleeve shapes. It seems really extreme though. Oh, I know. There's no seam allowance. I need to add a seam allowance. That's less extreme. Metalhead asking, have I ever encountered a, quote, toxic person while competing? Someone rude or arrogant? Yeah. But it's usually not the winners, if that sounds... Okay. Every contest I've ever been a part of, as a competitor or as a judge, the one thing that happens every single time is that someone will complain about the results. Someone will say, this was rigged, or it's unfair because blah, blah, blah. And that is so standard. That is literally every contest that I've ever participated in, is that someone is complaining about the person that they thought they should win. And as a judge, there's a lot we take into consideration. We take into consideration, you know, how things look up close, what it's made out of, how it's made, the details, and like the specifics and the thought behind it, none of which is apparent to the audience. So not only do those people, you know, frequently not know what they're talking about because they're not costumers, but they also like just they don't see the same thing that the judges see. Like, because they literally can't. Like, I've been to contests where I was like, oh, weird, I expected such and such would win. And then I talked to the judges later because a lot of the times they're my friends. And, you know, they'll say, oh, yeah, well, up close it was just a mess. Or they'll say, oh, yeah, this one that didn't look very impressive from the audience had this really cool detailing on the inside or on the underneath. Like a lot of the time there's just stuff that's not apparent of like work that the person went through or thought that they put into it that like kind of doesn't make that like just doesn't really ever fully become obvious to most of the audience, but there's still a lot of thought put into that, and so that's the sort of thing that you get to see sneak peeks of when you follow people on the internet. I mean, like, as far as when you're following someone who's making something, they'll show you, like, oh, this is the inside, or this is that interesting detail, or whatever that sets it apart. A judge, people talking about just, like, cosplay contest drama. There is really commonly contest drama where, oh, well, you're friends with so-and-so, why'd they get in the... You just gave them an award because they're your friend, but it's like, this is a pretty small community, and we kind of all know each other. So it's also hard when you know a bunch of people who are in the contest, and you can't let that affect your work, like, or your decision. You just do what you need to do as a judge, and you just determine which ones you thought were the most worthy of awarding. All you can do. Oh, that's a different angle or whatever. But yeah, I would say that sore losers are way more common than like rude people. I have met plenty of people that were just like kind of like vaguely disdainful backstage, and then you go out and beat them or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying I've done that, but you know, it always feels good if you can make it happen. Some people are just like really arrogant, or they feel very entitled to winning just because they showed up with their best work, and it's like, contests aren't that predictable. You don't know what other people are gonna enter. You don't know how long or hard someone else worked on something else that you might not even be able to see, and you know, you have no idea what expertise the judges are bringing to the table, which is usually a lot, but it varies based on the competition. Hello, Lineru, welcome. Rinzel Chan says, while it's awesome to have the showiest piece with all the extras, if you don't have the structure and are using the flashy bits to cover up the flaws, you still lose out on valuable construction points. That's very much true. So a lot of the time the audience will see like the biggest, flashiest thing on stage, but then the judges know like, oh, this is a huge mess up close. And so maybe they don't award that one, and then, you know, people in the audience get pissed because they're like, what? This has to be rigged. Why didn't such and such win? It was so huge and awe-inspiring. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily what they wanted, or that's not necessarily like what is the most impressive from a technical standpoint, or, you know, as people who are crafters and builders, we're looking at, we might be completely impressed by something else. So somebody's always mad after the contest. I haven't entered into a contest in quite some time. I think the last one I ever did is on my YouTube channel. You can watch that on YouTube. Go to my channel and just, you know, I think it's one of the first, or one of the main videos on there, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, it's one of the earliest videos that I did. And that was when I was Samus. That was before Samus was damaged, so I was like clean Samus. And I wore that into the IkiCon cosplay contest, and I won't spoil the ending, but that was a really fun video to make. We filmed it like documentary style, like following me around throughout the day, and just kind of day in the life of a cosplayer, going through a contest, you know, how to talk to the judges, what you say to the judges, or what I said to the judges anyway. I mean, I try to give some tips in the video, but I filmed it quite a bit ago. I could probably do a better job now. But yeah, you often have like just a couple minutes to present yourself to the judges, and so you have to be able to tell them like the most important pieces of information right away, and, you know, like present yourself well and with confidence and say, well, this one, you know, this is my work, this is what I did to make it, and, you know, here's some of the steps I went through and techniques I used. And you want to be able to explain things that the judges already know, but the point is that you're proving that you know it. So instead of just being like, I sewed it, you say, this is the technique that I used, and I have, you know, this stitch here and this fabric or whatever, and they're nodding along, and they might be able to look at all of it and recognize it, and if they're very experienced, then a lot of the time they can and should be able to do that. But what matters is that you're demonstrating that you actually really know what you're talking about, and that you really did it, and not your friend or your mom or your grandma or just whoever. Or that you didn't just commission it and lie about making it so that you can win a contest. They're looking for understanding and competence, and also like effective choices. Like, to use a material that's not just like a good, that not just that works for the piece, but also was a good choice out of like whatever available options exist. So there's a lot of nuance to cosplay contests, and if you're interested in competing, I recommend making costumes that are specifically designed to be competition pieces, by which I mean it needs to have a certain level of detail, it needs to incorporate a certain amount of different techniques, because when it's a really close call between two different costumes, the judges are looking for which one has more, which one has extra, or which one is just like super pristine or whatever. And the more techniques and the more materials that you have a mastery of, that you're demonstrating proficiency of in that one costume, you know, that's all like extra points, more or less. Like, that's all stuff that the judges are impressed by, and it's all going to like affect their overall decision. Is kind of who has the most to offer there. So yeah, cosplay contests are a lot of fun. I've done quite a few of them at this point in my life. Never did win a Best in Show. I won quite a few craftsmanship awards because that's what I'm into. Best of Show is a lot of the time considered, at least in the Texas scene, it's like a performance award, or it's a performance and crafting together award. And so like my craftsmanship has been, I think I've won more awards for craftsmanship than I have for anything, and it's because I spent a lot of time sewing, and I spent a lot of thought and attention on those details, and so that's my strength rather than performing or like doing a skit or whatever kinds of things people do to win performance awards that I never got. Yeah, it's always really disheartening when like you have a bad experience in a contest because of like emotional reasons, like whether someone else is antagonizing you or you just like feel insecure about the situation, or you know, you have to deal with people with crappy attitudes or whatever. That's really difficult to deal with. I don't know if there are really easy answers for that, but I haven't encountered as much of that as I have encountered friends and made new friends in contests. Like almost all of my very first cosplay friends that I ever made, I made because we were in contests together, and they were my competition, but we didn't like see each other that way after the fact. Like we just were making friends backstage. We were all sitting around talking about, oh, how'd you make that? What is that made out of? What techniques went into this? And you just sit backstage, and it's so inspiring to exchange all of those ideas with people. And anytime I had the opportunity to do that, you know, I left the contest like happy and inspired and like, oh, I can't wait to work on the next thing, and I want to go home and make my next costume right now, because you're stoked that you just made a bunch of new cosplay friends. Alright, so I'm figuring out what this piece needs to look like now. Quite a bit of room out of this. I lost like 2 inches. Alright, I'm just kind of like eyeballing changes because YOLO. Just kidding, this is fine. I know what I'm doing. I'm making estimates. Dejai says, I'm hoping to start competing with cosplay soon. It's something I've been scared of doing, but I want to do it. Nervous but excited. I had a great time with it. It is nerve-wracking, but like I said, it's a wonderful place to meet people, and you will meet people who have good attitudes, who are there to see other people's work, who are excited to get to know one another. You know, that's a great place to accomplish that. I want to make this a little bit sharper too. Sorry, I'm changing my mind about some things after I started cutting. It's okay. Trimming like a whole inch off of this side, but that's okay. It's for the best. Here's my pen. Where can you find costume templates or patterns? Well, places like Joann's have a whole section of costumes in their pattern books and sections and stuff. Yeah. If you go into the pattern area, they have shirts, trousers, skirts, dresses, all of those things separately listed, and then you just find the costume section of that pattern book, and you can just look through all of the options. Alright, we'll just see how this fits together before I keep changing it. Alright, I think my goal for this stream, it's 4:30 right now, where I am. I've been going for like an hour and a half. My stream goal is to put this other sleeve in and try that on and get through sleeve 2.0. Sorry, this is 3.0. This is all of sleeves 3.0. Sleeve. Alright, enough of that. This is sleeve 3.0. I'm going to get it attached, which means I have to sew it to the top and bottom pieces. Or I have to sew it to the bottom portion of the sleeve and then sew all of that to the dress. I'll do that next. Oh, to continue answering Sochin's question, I got distracted. You can buy patterns in places like Joann. You can buy patterns online, where like from places like Etsy. Like not only can you find the same patterns, but you can find like individually made patterns. Like I don't have my print store or my pattern general store open right now or anymore, but when it was open, I was offering my Zelda patterns as an item in my store that you could digitally purchase. And so like a lot of other cosplayers offer like pattern packs or tutorial packs or whatever as a purchasable item. So you could potentially find like specific character patterns made by other cosplayers if you like things that are popular enough. Which I don't, unfortunately. Well, I mean, I do sometimes, and I have used other cosplayers' patterns. Like I used an Attack on Titan jacket pattern that I bought on Etsy, I believe. Or if it wasn't Etsy, it was like whatever costumer's like personal website. That I just found from Googling things and eventually led to a usable pattern. Pinkthorn says some of the branded costume patterns are pretty much genericized versions of character stuff. Yes. The pattern that I'm using for this is a genericized Arwen pattern. It's like based on Arwen's look, especially if you look at this this version of this outfit. It's like straight up something Arwen would wear. It's like a color swapped version of stuff that she does wear in the movie. And so the idea is that you buy the pattern knowing that like the manufacturer knows, okay, these people are making Ren Fair garb or Arwen costumes or whatever. But yeah, it's just the generic version. They have Zelda too, they have a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it's a little bit more common for them to be officially licensed now, where companies will allow like Simplicity or McCall's or whatever to make patterns based on their property. That's a good sound. Metalhead subscribed. Thank you so much, Metalhead. I appreciate that. Welcome to our fan here. Okay, I'm gonna replace this upper sleeve. Sew the lower sleeve back onto it. I'm really excited to do a photo shoot stream next week. That would be a great way to like kind of double dip, because photo shoots are so exhausting. They take so much out of me. I really enjoy them, and I enjoy like the process for the most part, and I enjoy the results of feeling very accomplished of, you know, getting new photos, but they are just like very physically taxing to do. So I'm excited to do that as a stream and then like not have additional stream obligations. Metalhead says, everyone seems so nice and I had to reward it. That's right, everyone is very nice here. We're blessed to have a nice chat. I don't think mean people like sewing. I don't know, I've met a few. It's usually not the case though. I've had such a super productive day. I'm feeling really good about it. So many wonderful ideas in my head. Keeps me very occupied. Alicia, or Alley Cat, welcome! So the current task is I'm working on my third version of Arwen's sleeve. I've just been kind of refining things and changing the fit a little bit with each version, and so this is 3.0 that we're currently on. I'm pinning it right now, and then in a moment I will sew it together, and that's actually probably going to be the end of my stream, but it'll take a while to get there, so I would say within the next 30 minutes to an hour I will probably be done. Depending on how long this takes. I have this semi-long seam, I'll just sew the vertical seam, and then I have to set it into the sleeve. So knowing me and my slow pace and my talking, that might be up to another hour. Brinzel-chan, yeah, these clips are so useful. These are Wonder clips, or they're the off-brand version or whatever, and they are super useful for pinning things together. And my sewing machine is coming back out. It's been really useful to not have to like stand up and move around. A lot, anyway. Perfect Patris watching from Europe, and it's super late. Well, thanks for joining us. Marceline doing their homework. It's good, it's very responsible of you. Alright, here's what the sleeve looks like. There's the upper portion, and then the drapey portion. And we're just gonna make them be married together. Been a really beautiful day. After this, I'm going to keep painting on my pillars. I'm going to add stone texture to my walls. Maybe work on the stained glass window a little bit. So those are my like remaining tasks between now and my next week photo shoot. Next weekend. So I will be able to show all of that off next weekend, hopefully during my stream. Stream photo shoot. Yeah, I really like that idea. I'm going to try to set that up for next week to actually be streaming during the photo shoot, because then everyone who contributed to making the wall and the flower wall and like the fake walls, the pillars, just like everything, the stained glass window, all of that is stuff that was supported through this stream and through Coffee, just people who like made random donations. So all of that is like directly because of the support that I received from the stream. So I think that the best way to kind of like show the results is, number one, doing an awesome photo shoot, but beyond that, doing it live for people to tune in and watch, like kind of what went into making it happen in the end and like what it looks like in the final version. So I'm really, really excited to show it off. I think it's finally getting to the point where you can kind of imagine it, I hope, when you look at it. You kind of get a sense of what it's going to be, in that I have like some faux walls and how they fit together, and the flower wall, of course, now has been posted. There I have a lovely curved seam. My flouncy area. So who will be doing the photo shoot with you? The photographer is Lee Kovacs, who is another cosplayer, and also is someone else who lives up here in this area, really close by, and does beautiful photography work. And so she's someone who I've worked with before. She did photos of my Rey costume recently, and she also did photos of Luca from Chrono Trigger, and she did photos of Twilight Princess Zelda with the bow. So I've shot with her 3 times already, and we're doing another shoot for Aerith 1 week from today, I guess. I'll have to double check that she's free on Saturday. Otherwise, it'll be Sunday. But yeah, she's a photographer for that set, and I'm really excited. And she was the one who came over today so that we could work on walls. Hey, Silver Jag. Or that's not a J, that's just, or no, maybe it is. Running a miniatures painting workshop for International Tabletop Day. That sounds really fun. I've only really painted miniatures like a couple of times at conventions, where they just have like, it's set up as an activity where you can just sit down and paint a minifig, and it's really relaxing, a nice way to like spend some time during a con. Alright, now the seam is together. The sleeve itself is together. Painting is super relaxing. I agree. If you enjoy it anyway. That fits much better. You can get a sense of... Oh, this still needs to be like sewn onto the inside. Sorry. It is incomplete right now, but this gets put to the inside. I might actually let it out slightly because it is a little bit tight. And not so much that I can't wear it for right now. It might not need another full mock-up though. That would be exciting if it was like ready. I'm kind of done sewing sleeves. Or I wish I was done sewing sleeves rather. So that seam goes on the underside. So making the bottom smaller means I need to kind of readjust how this falls. Because right now they're a little bit like too overlapped, so some more of this fabric is going to have to come off. But other than that, I'm sorry, I'm like, let me move this again. Okay, so having taken the sleeve in quite a bit, adjusted the way the front, affected the way that the front is falling. So some of this needs to be like trimmed off so that it will be a little bit more open. But otherwise, I would have to say that fits pretty nicely. It's like comfortably, what am I trying to say? Like there's enough going on, it's like comfortably tight without being actually restricting. So we'll see. Let me try putting it into this first and then we'll see if I still like it. But then this will be probably the end of my stream after I get done with this. It's currently 4:47 where I am, so almost 5 o'clock. So I'm gonna keep streaming probably, I don't know, next 20 or 30 minutes, however long it takes to get done with this part. I've been having just like some crazy productive days. Hey Red Bard, thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. So the sleeve is ready to go in because this is already also ready. Here we go. Oh, hello. Did you guys hear that? We've got someone coming to visit. Come over here. Come to this side. It's time. It's Aries time. Kitty! It's the boy. It's boy time. It's him. Aries, would you like to say hello to the chat? He's so incredibly floofy. He's so fluffy. You're a fluffy boy, aren't you? He's purring really hard. He likes to be just like bundled up in my arms. He's a big boy. He weighs about 20 pounds. He's 11 years old. And he hates kisses. Yeah, he just complained. Anyway, right now with Jared having been gone, he's been begging for a lot of attention from me. So I try to give it to him whenever I can. And yes, he's so fluffy. Alright, Aries, you gonna be nice? He might stay in my lap for a little while. We'll see if there's room for him. Oh, I just like abandoned. There he goes. Bye, Aries. He'll probably stick around in the same general area. I just immediately abandoned my work. I was like, this is over. It's time for kitty in the lap. Kitty lap time. He just, he needs a lot of loving. There's a lot of him to love, and he has many needs. But he is extremely easy to love. He's so sweet. Kitty pillow. Creatosaurus, you got it. You got it worked out. You are hosting me currently. It doesn't. It says so in the chat. I think it's just not a notification on stream. Oh, I got Aries hair in my mouth. Weird. Who would imagine that kissing a cat that you would end up with fur on your lips? But here we are. After this, I gotta decide what I'm gonna have for dinner. That's what's on my mind already. Yes, what delicious dinner will I have with this? Yeah, I think the sleeve is too small. I need to open it up a little bit. I wonder if I can still set it in. It's gonna be tight. I think I can do it. So yeah, I think my initial suspicion that the sleeve is just a little bit too tight is definitely going to be true. But it's okay because there's a really easy way of fixing that, which is just to make it wider right there at the seam. And based on just my initial attempts at easing this in, I think that's going to have to change, which is fine. I'm still going to set this in because I've already gone so far as to attach the lower sleeve to it, and I kind of want to see how this whole shape connects to the arm and the shoulder, and whether or not I like that. And if that's good, then I'll just make the next version a little bit different for the next full mock-up and move on to like making another full version of the dress rather than just working on the sleeve itself. So this is our last task for today's stream. I'm just kind of talking out loud about what I'm going to be doing next. What kind of brand sewing machine am I using? This is a Brother embroidery sewing machine, the SE400. Other than that, I've also used Viking machines. I own a couple Viking machines. But there are a lot of good brands out there. As long as you're getting something that is sturdy, the brand is less important than just having a machine that can handle your work. Which I've used a lot of great machines across a lot of great brands over the years. Hello, Reaper Titanium, welcome. I'm working on sewing my last seam of this stream, I hope. So this will take us maybe another 10-15 minutes. Moving a little bit faster than I thought I would originally. Alright, time to stitch this and then we'll be maybe done? We'll see. It's still sunny. Where am I from? Pacific. West Coast, that's what I'm trying to say. I live in Washington State, in the Seattle area, so that's why there's sun outside. It was a little bit rainy today, so it's a little bit overcast, so it's not like super sunny, but it is still daylight outside, and that is really nice. It's about 5 p.m. here, and it's staying brighter outside for longer, so I'm looking forward to seeing more sun, or just more daylight in general, later into the evenings this summer than what I'm used to. Because I used to live farther in the south. Alright, time to sew. I'm gonna have to persuade the fabric a little bit as I move around. So hopefully this will all go according to plan. I'll make sure everything stays nice and smooth as it goes through the machine. Oh, Reaper Titanium is on the other side of the Pacific Ocean. That's interesting. What country are you in? Yes, I'm in United States Pacific side. Oh, you meant the Atlantic. Oh, okay. Creatosaurus says, nice to meet you, gonna go to bed now. European time zone here. Alright, well enjoy the rest of your evening and get some sleep. Thanks for the follow, thanks for the host. We'll see you next time. Alright, just getting things lined up. We're like halfway through this last scene. So I am going faster than I thought. So I was like, oh, this might take me 10 or 15 minutes. I'm still gonna try it on. So in a moment, when it's sewn, you'll get to see me put it all on and kind of show it off a little bit. And you'll get a better idea of what is currently being sewn. You're from baguette country. Ah. And Belgium. Oh, nice. Well, I hope that you both have lovely evenings. Or whatever time it is where you are. The other side of the Atlantic. Okay, from baguette country, would that be France then, I take it? Francais. Almost done here. La Belgique française. Oh, okay. From the corn state of the US of A. I'm not sure which. Wait, is that what? Is that Iowa? What is the corn state? I don't know. You're gonna have to inform me. I'm from Washington State. It's beautiful here. All right, we're almost there. so close. Okay, just one moment and we'll be ready. Alright, hang it up. Oh, there we go. All kinds of French going on. And Reaper Titanium says my French pronunciation is very good. Well, thank you. I'm not extremely experienced or anything like that, but I did study French when I was in school, so that's how I learned how to pronounce things. The corn state is Nebraska. Alright. Here's the dress. It will be closed in the front, like that. I've got the sleeve. Let me move the camera again. Oh, that just came unclipped. But the actual sleeve and how it meets with the dress is much better. I've got a little bit more of like a cap, but that's fine because it's a part of, there's actually another piece that's missing here. So I'm actually very pleased with this sleeve pattern, and it doesn't feel too tight on my arm now that it's actually set in. So I'm really happy. Okay, so version 3.0 is approved. I'm gonna make a few more adjustments to this. I have to have that stitched down, and then I need to kind of reevaluate exactly what size and shape this lower portion is, but that's just gonna be trimming a little bit. And otherwise, this is good to go, so I'm gonna move on to making a second mock-up next. And so that's really exciting because that can be our next, the next stream will be moving on to a new portion of the costume. So that's really exciting. Thank you guys for joining me. Oh, Meg Marie just got here and the stream is ending. Well, thank you for showing up. And thanks to everybody who chatted with me today and got to hang out. Oh yeah, that's true. Something like 50% of the country, nearly 50%, a lot of the mainland was a French territory at one point and was purchased with the Louisiana Purchase. Thank you, Reaper Titanium. Thanks, guys. Iowa is the corn state? Okay. Or maybe there's multiple corn states. Alright. I'm gonna sneeze. I should end the stream before I sneeze. Thank you all for hanging out. I will see you on my next stream on Monday, where I will be editing new photos. So check you out there, I hope, and you can see what else I'm up to next. Alright. Bye!